Assalamu alaikum and welcome to the Scoreboard. I'm your host Ahmed Nawaz with the latest roundup of sports today. You're watching us live on Pakistan TV from our Islamabad studios. There's a lot to talk about when it comes to the sport that we all love, but first of all we'll talk about the upcoming series between Pakistan and Sri Lanka. The ODI showdown is all set. Pakistan, after their successive victory against South Africa, will now be looking forward to a new campaign as well. The teams have been announced as well. Of course, they're up and ready. Sri Lanka have been gearing up for practice at the Pindi Cricket Stadium as well. All in all, it looks to be a good series. They've got a bunch of experience who's played in Pakistan in the Pakistan Super League, so I think it's going to be something that the world will look forward to. Then we move on and we discuss something very, very particular, as former Afghanistan players are now becoming very vocal and have criticized the current Taliban regime for criticizing and I think damaging the sport that we all love as well. Cricket Australia had boycotted the Afghanistan series in the past and they continue to do so over a human rights issue that personifies once again Afghan women lose their last hope as the Taliban, of course, not just shut down internet but deny any women participation when it comes to sports as well. I think the world has been very vocal of this fact. Australia in the past had taken a very vocal stance, but the Taliban continue to defy international pressure and once again ridicule the sport, and of course once again have banned women's sports from taking place at any level whatsoever, be it cricket or any other sport. They just won't allow it. So I think it's become sort of an international issue now which needs to be discussed in detail. Then of course we move on and we discuss Pep Guardiola's 1000th game as City of course crushed Liverpool. This was something that was much talked about in the world of the English Premier League and football as well, but this was a night to remember for City fans, as there's a lot of criticism that has once again been thrown at Liverpool, and I think this aging squad now is something that is becoming a bit of a problem. Then we move on. Pakistan had spectacular results in the Hong Kong Sixes tournament. They were absolutely clinical on a day when it mattered the most as well. I think their stellar victories continued after they beat the semi-finalist Australia and then went on to qualify for the finals, beating Kuwait as well. Abbas Afridi was just excellent. He managed to lead the Pakistan side to victory over Kuwait by 43 runs as well. Then tennis, there's been a major upset in the WTA finals. It was something that probably none of us expected, as Sabalenka lost in straight sets to Alina Rybakina, the world number 6, triumphing over the world number 1 in straight sets, sending shockwaves throughout the tennis community. This was one night of tennis to remember, and a night of tennis that probably Sabalenka would want to forget as well, because this loss won't go down lightly in her career. Then we move on and we discuss more particular things with you on the scoreboard. It's Williams with their 4th parasurfing world title as well. Absolutely brilliant. We had some stellar conditions that we talk about, picturesque, not only the background but then again ideal conditions that you want to call them picture perfect for the competition as well. But Llewellyn Williams was on a day when it mattered the most on top of his form. He has been throughout the parasurfing league as well, triumphing in the men's kneeling category, and he is I think one role model across sports as well. Then of course Jackson Santos finishing in 2nd place. Then of course we talk about someone who's breaking barriers when it comes to squash as well, Miss Sana Bahadar, who's a story of inspiration, grit and determination. She's one that will of course go down in Pakistan as someone who's been absolutely brilliant, who's kept her head down and has been performing consistently when it comes to this very popular sport in Pakistan and throughout the world. And she's an absolutely unstoppable force herself as well, competing internationally in squash tournaments throughout the world, not just in one particular region, and winning accolades for Pakistan as well, who's of course given her a new identity. We discuss all of this and much more on the scoreboard. We start off with cricket. First of all, joining us in studios is first-class cricketer and expert here on the scoreboard, Mr. KASHIF MAJEED. Assalamu alaikum. How are you?
I'm perfectly fine.
Well, Sri Lanka's here. I think it's a bit of a different challenge than what South Africa are. Pakistan will be very happy to take the ODI series. The final one, they won convincingly, but Sri Lanka seemed to be much more acquainted with these conditions.
I think before we talk about the teams, let's pay our tribute to the groundsmen, because a week earlier they'll be coming up with all those trips who can allow the spinners to bowl frequently and in great numbers, and now they'll be preparing a fast track because spinners are the Sri Lanka's mantra. So most probably they are working hard these days in Rawalpindi strips to make it more greener, slightly lush. in the surface so that our fast bowlers could get help, and we'll see slightly quicker surfaces against the Sri Lanka. So most probably this is what home advantage is all about. And talking about the Pakistani teams versus Sri Lanka, I think Sri Lanka under Sanatran Jayasuriya's leadership, most probably this time off the field, the way he's handling his team, they are a force to reckon in, most probably in all three formats, and it will be a good challenge posted by Sri Lankan team this time around.
Well, some of their batters have got experience playing in the PSL and they're very comfortable on these conditions, but with this traditional Sri Lankan side, I call them traditional because they remind us of some former players as well. But with always, I think Sri Lanka have probably been a very underrated side. They've been able to reach top 4 of majority of ICC tournaments as well, and considering that you've got to play them in the T20 World Cup in their own home conditions, how clinical do you believe their batting is as far as this format one day is suited?
You know, just recently, when we follow Sri Lanka in the recent events, they've been doing wonderfully well. Maybe this is Asia Cup, we talk about their performance in Australia and South Africa, across the borders in ASEAN countries, they've been doing wonderfully well, and they've got a strength in their batting, the depth in their batting. Pathum Zanka at the top of the order, then they have got the mystery spinner, they've got quality pacers. I have to compare Pakistan versus Sri Lanka in this coming series, the only edge we have got is we have got slightly better resources when it comes to the fast bowling, as Sri Lanka is match to match against us even in our own backyard. So most probably it will be a good series, and this is, when we talk about Sri Lanka, it's a completely team game which they are playing, not a single player. They created a superhero out of it, because everyone chipping in at the very crucial moment and everyone scoring and playing for the team. So this is the best.
And probably I think we won't be wrong if we say they're the best fielding side in the region.
Yes, definitely one of the best, because if not the best, because the way they are playing, and it's just not the fielding side, the skill level, the fitness level, the way I must salute Jayasuriya, because the moment he stepped into that shoes of as a coach, as a mentor, Sri Lanka has completely changed side, and the word intent is rightly put it forward by Sanatran Jayasuriya. It's just not
dangerous word for us, but yes. I'm sure they're getting it. But for Pakistan's chances, I think the coach has thrown a lot of weight behind Shaheen Shah Afridi. He called him a clinical captain who inspired the bowlers and the batters in that victory against the series as well. But that's not just the case. Pakistan has once again gone back to the same mantra of dropping players without any reason. This time the latest casualty has been Hassan Nawaz.
And picking plays without even giving any explanation.
Oh, that's a normal now.
No, so. Yeah, because Haris Saruf, the last outing was in Asia Cup final, and he played some of those domestic cricket matches where he bowled few overs, but not any commendable performances. But still, he's part of the Pakistan team. He's still in the playing 11. So I don't want to mention a certain franchise, from where Haris Saruf or the captains belongs, and the certain debutant from 39 years old guys get the chance to play for Pakistan. But it's getting something of an obvious choice. A player from that particular PSL has got an two-way entry into the team. Every now and then we see a player coming from that franchise. But having said this, most probably Hassan Nawaz, a curious case of Hassan Nawaz, because just a month earlier, we've seen Salman Ali Agha coming to the media and saying we have got a generational talent, and that generational talent is there just for a month and so, and we just lost the track of that generational talent.
Yeah, but he said if they don't become next future stars, that's my failure. Two of them are now out of the team. Yes. So whose failure is this?
Most probably that's his failure.
But he's still in the team.
Yeah. But when we talk about Hassan Nawaz's case, since I knew when he stepped in Islamabad and when he started playing the club cricket, he was always a stroke maker. But the way he performed, or the way he manages to play some of his shots, that was not his shot, because he has got so many array of shots. Even stepping down the track was not his shot, because he has got those back foot sixes towards the side screen. He has got those cut shots, and then long levers can reach the ball, even midway through the wicket, we used to say. But stepping out of the track, even just facing 3 balls, most probably there is immense pressure on him, and most probably everybody in the dressing room or dugout is saying that you go and just have a blast. But this is not not the way to blast. So is at that particular time in his career, he definitely need a mentor to calm the nerves down and just come up with a solution to his problem. The only problem he has got is psychological. When we talk about the talent, the shots, the way he executed those shots in domestic arena, he has got everything.
I think even in the selection we said it's premature. Even in the exit we'll say it's premature. But the fact is you can't rate him and criticize him on that number 7, which I already says has been a nightmare position for Pakistan. We saw Asif Ali's exit, we saw Khushdil Shah's exit. Iftikhar Ahmed's exit was another case, then Irfan Niazi, then it came all the way to, some people started talking about Abdul Samad, some people started talking about Tayyib Tahir, but nobody could have settled on that position. But let's take a look at a very interesting set of numbers that we have of top scorers. I think that really identifies the debate pretty well as well, where we talk about what's next for Pakistan. And once again, we come to most runs in all formats for Pakistan as far as by active players are concerned, and Babar Azam and Mohammad Rizwan still managed to top that list. Yes, Kashif.
At number 4, we have got Imamul Haq, who's been in tremendous form when we talk about his outings in UK, and still he is not getting the chance.
He's not in our plans anymore.
Not in the plans, because and nobody says anything about him. We were thinking that since from the very first morning he stepped as a Pakistan player, and there was a chance of Parchi and there is a chance of his relationship with Inzamam, because that was Inzamam's era.
He was the chief selector.
Yeah, he was chief selector. Nobody taking Imamul Haq as a serious contender to open the innings in the one day. And when we go, when we talk about his statistics, a strike rate over 85 and most probably 80, 85, and average of around in the late 40s. This is an ideal opener we wanted to have, few years back in our lineup. And he, along with Fakhr, has created one of those monumental opening partnerships across border. It's just not in Pakistan, because we weren't playing that much of cricket in Pakistan. He was very instrumental in some of those partnerships, 150.
But what I don't understand, Kashif, is on one side we look at a player like Imam's capacity and potential, which I think is tremendous for one-day cricket. He's a tremendous player. He's improved greatly with his strike rate as well. He had the ability to take the spinners to the cleaners as well. And on the other hand, we've got a World Cup year coming up. Pakistan's prime batter right now, Fakhr Zaman, in T20s. We drop him from the T20. We pick him in the one-days, and a public statement comes out that we want him to focus on his technique and improve in one-days. In a T20 year, we want him to improve in one day. And the guy performs miserably in the 3 one-days against South Africa, and God knows what we've done to his self-confidence.
I guess that is the self-confidence we wanted in every player, given by the team management. And in case of Fakhr Zaman, that was just not there. Most probably, we would wanted him to play all those matches leading up to the World Cup, because we wanted a fit, in form Fakhr Zaman for the World Cup, and more, and we know for the fact that he can play spin and fast bowlers equally well. We would have vouched a left-handed at the top of the order to negotiate all those left arm spinners going around the world, and Fakhr Zaman can be a solution. Fakhr Zaman can be a solution to all those.
But we didn't let that number settle. He was opening, then brought him to 3, then 4. Then even at 5, and then we don't know what to do with him.
And the recent outing in the Asia Cup, he was the one guy, along with, of course, Saibzada Farhan, who negotiated the spin very well. All those mystery spinners playing in this Asia Cup, he negotiated well, and he was playing pretty okay cricket. But we wanted something more of him, and we haven't got any of those shots from Fakhr in this recent ODI. So again, looking into the coming T20 World Cup, I'm not sure the 15-member squad for that World Cup, even the 20-member squad for that World Cup, because every new series brings a new surprise. That generational talent of Hasan Nawaz is now fading away. Abdul Samad, since he scored few runs in Hong Kong Super Sixes, where the boundary is just around this studio size, and now he's getting a chance in the lineup.
But surprisingly, players like Abbas Afridi, who are, I think, not based on Hong Kong sixes but previous performances, could be the ideal position we want at number 7 as an all-rounder, but we don't look at that.
You'll be competing against Rana Fahim, Ashraf.
That's my case. So I think I'm done and dusted. Kashif has just, done a suo moto over here, and I have got nothing to say. But that being said, I think it'll be a very interesting series going forward, because Sri Lanka are here to win. And I mean it when I say this, that They're not South Africa. They're going to be far more ruthless than suited and acquainted to this format. But that brings us to another very important thing that we talk about in the world of cricket. And before we even touch that as well, players like Imam, players like Fakhar Zaman, even players like Hassan Nawaz, who are now out of the side. I was just going through some numbers as well, and I was astonished, and I was a bit angry as well that we're not letting players settle down. In the case of Fakhar Zaman, he was into the side and went out after 5 or 6 games. We did the same with Imamul Haq because he was completely ignored when people started talking about Saim Ayub, and now Hassan Nawaz has been completely ignored. And I don't think, I always say that the exit is the difficult part. People think about that, but getting back into the Pakistan team is probably a nightmare for certain players who are talented as well. We'll leave it at that, of course, but now we move on where we see all sorts of utter rubbish now that is coming from across the border. We've talked about the fact before as well, where certain Afghan players in their own delusion were criticizing Pakistan, but now it's come to a new level low where now they've started criticizing Australia. And this time it has come from a former Afghan player who has criticized Australia over their boycott of the series against Afghanistan. Australia, on the other hand, are very, very particular. They've slammed them over women's rights as well. And they've said that, the conditions over there and the ban on women's sports and athletes is something that, of course, we want it to be addressed before as well. And they've made it very clear that they need to address the Taliban regime right now, need to address these issues pertaining to women's sports. And the BBC has also quoted Afghan women losing their last hope as Taliban have now shut down internet as well. This came, of course, late last month as well. So the fact is that, it's just surprising the way these conditions are. A lot of these Afghan men's players have for their life played in Pakistan. They've enjoyed facilities here, they've played club cricket here, and now they've come to a point where it's not just us, they're also trying to see Australia head on, which is very, very surprising. And I must, address this once again, that it's the failure of any international community at large if you see women's sports, which is now a very popular and at par subject. It's no longer divided. The prize money by the ICC, the amount of cricket being played, if you talk about the Future Tours program, everything is being brought at par with men's cricket now. But the Taliban continue to embarrass themselves and their cricket team all around the world. And I think that bubble has now certainly started to pop, and that's why certain Afghan players or former players are trying to secure jobs probably by towing a line which if Indian players have for far too long done, trying to be part of the BJP regime as well. It's plain simple as that. But KASHIF, Majeed, it's just horrendous, isn't it? I mean, women's cricket, such a popular sport in the world. Australia, I think, have taken the right decision. They've done it before as well, and they're very firm about their stance.
I think it's a good decision taken by Australia. Anyone who is not allowing their women to play cricket should have come with a genuine reason for that. It's just not shutting those internets down and just not talking about it, and just you don't have an answer to any
to suppress
query.
voices.
And of course, because there has to be a genuine answer to every query put by you, put forward to you by ICC. Moving on to that subject, I was just going through Mohammad Nabi's profile, a profile which was available on one of those biggest websites who talks about cricket. There is a team with the name of Pakistan Customs, from which Mohammad Nabi has played his first class.
A department, yes.
A department. Pakistan Customs is a department who is not playing franchise cricket, by the way. He's playing a genuine first class cricket. Mohammad Nabi represented Pakistan Customs. I have played a tournament alongside Mohammad Shehzad in Rawalpindi. It was a T10 and Shehzad was playing. I was there when I see Rashid Khan, practicing in Pakistan. Going on with all these allegations, and anyone who say something right, something which is helpful for the cause of cricket globally, Afghan players just started using their abusive words and languages. It was year 2022, I guess, when we were supporting Pakistan and we won the match against Afghanistan, and then we found out that Afghani fans in the crowd started using abusive language, all those harmful activities against the Pakistani fans. I think ICC should have take some action. And when I talk about ICC, by the way, it's not Indian Cricket Council, because if it's Indian Cricket Council, Afghanistan is, I don't want to say a typical word, but Afghanistan is a dummy of a BCCI board.
Well, it's very clear. I was going to come to that, KASHIF, that it seems to be that they're towing someone else's line at the moment. This is not typical Afghanistan. But even with the Taliban regime, I think it's become so embarrassing that they continue to defy international pressure and put a ban on women's sports, while at the same time they endorse Indian sponsorship, which is supporting women's team as well at the same.
Most probably someone in ICC or someone in the cricket community is just saying, you go forward and we are with you, and this is some sort of a Afghan player are doing. Most probably the prize money or the players earn a reward at IPL is talking too loud from the mouths of the Afghan cricketer. But there has to be a drawn line, because we cannot let go this cricket community suffered by these few blokes out there who just know nothing about cricket, who is just new to this arena of playing international cricket, and they can see anything they wanted to, and nobody's taking the notice out of it. Because how many times we were the ones who said that this cross-border activities, anti-cricket activities happening, and we are unfortunate neighbors on the both sides, and nobody's taking the initiative and nobody's taking the notice. But now Australia knows what we are feeling previously and what we are going through for certain years. So I believe that now it's a time by International Cricket Council to take certain measures, to take certain actions.
It's very particular. If I look at the ICC set of rules and regulations as well, it is mandatory for cricketing sides to invest in women's sports for them to be eligible for ICC model, ICC funding, and also at the same time ICC tournaments as well. So why doesn't the ICC come up and take a plain decision that because they're not supporting women's cricket, Afghanistan team will not be allowed to compete in ICC tournaments?
I wish if this ICC was a neutral, genuine body, because of recent years now people across border, and we were discussing this in this very forum where Greg Chappell and all those guys were talking about the increase of Indian pressure on the decisions made by the ICC. So now if this is a genuine body, this is something which is working for the cricket across the globe, they have to take certain measures. And it's just not, I know for a fact that if they impose a ban or impose ban on certain players or the cricket board who are playing cricket, even the men's cricket, it can be ingenuine thing because they've been playing cricket for their own sake. But there has to be something in written to the Afghanistan cricket board. This is not happening. And if some player is vocal enough to come on and say something on media, then this player should be asked why he's coming up with these slogans of politicized cricket. And if we talk about politicized cricket, I've just gone through some of those tweets made by certain Indian players to the who are holding trophies and saying something of something happening in the past in Asia Cup. So most probably everything is now in chaos when it comes to ICC, not present there for few players, and it's always present there when Shoaib Akhtar just simply sent off Matthew Hayden towards the dressing room, and he was bound to for certain.
Well, even in relation to Afghanistan cricket, the ICC policy is very clear. It said that it is an ICC requirement for full members to also have a national women's side besides the men's side as well. And Afghanistan already have test status, so they're a full member country.
They're a full member country, and they were eyeing to play test cricket. They were trying to host international teams in the neutral venue, being the host nation for the test cricket. If this is the cause, so most probably they'll be asked, or they'll be stripped off this status of test team, and now we can go back to number 11, that will be Ireland, and most probably we will ask Afghanistan that you are no more a test team because you are not supporting the cause of getting this test status by the ICC. You are going against it, and now it's very clear from their government, from their cricket board, that they are not supporting the cause of getting this status of test cricket from ICC. So yes, certain actions need to be taken before it's too late.
Well, certainly, and I'll just read it out for our viewers' perspective as well. This is the ICC membership criteria, and this is the application process of reclassification and retention of membership, which was approved on the 22nd of June 2017 and amended on the 13th of July 2023. It says to be considered eligible for membership as a full member of the International Cricket Council, the associate member must satisfy the following membership criteria: general and having the appropriate status, structure, recognition, membership and competence to be recognized as an ICC full member as the primary governing body as well. This includes the development of cricket both at men's and women's level, and also inclusion of a women's team in ICC tournaments as well. So I think it goes a step further that there is right now not even a talk about the infrastructure development at grassroots level.
Not only the talk, recently in one of the columns written by an Afghani writer, they were eyeing their women to start playing just like their men in UAE, being UAE their base.
Neutral venue, yes.
Neutral venue being their base, and certain female cricketers wanted to involve in the ICC upcoming events representing Afghanistan while staying at UAE just like their male cricketer. But now with this notice, now these wordings coming from the Afghan Cricket Board, I think that will be a no-brainer. That's in near future a women cricket emerge from Afghanistan, and most probably I would want their test cricket to be defy and deny the chance of playing any neutral country or any country, because now they'll be just associate nation playing T20 or most probably.
I'm surprised, had there been an unfortunate circumstance like this in Pakistan, the BCCI would have gone bonkers to shut us down. But at this case of Afghanistan, besides Australia, I think there has been no one who's been vocal enough as well. But I think that is the case that will leave once again. And I do certainly believe that cricketing bodies around the world expect from the ICC to at least be fair and adequate in their measures as well for all member states, that if they don't have a structure of development at women's level for cricket and no participation, then simple, a men's membership should also be revoked as well. And we've got a T20 World Cup coming up, so I think it's pretty simple. That being said, we move on to Pakistan, which have done tremendously well in a format which probably is the best suited for our young players, which was the Hong Kong Super Sixes, and they went absolutely berserk. I mean, just look at the skipper Abbas Afridi. He was just out of this world. I mean, look at the captaincy, the bowling, the batting. But Kashif, nonetheless, the fans are very happy about this victory.
The way they fought against Australia in the semi-finals with 1-run victory, the final itself, I think that was the best suited. And I was just going through, Waqar Yunus commentary. He was there alongside Michael Clark. Richards have played this Hong Kong Super Sixes way back in 90s, and he was going through all those legends of the cricket, Wasim, he himself, and then some Australians. And when he mentioned Vivian Richards, I get to know that this event has got so much to offer, because this event has got so much of history. So even this format and the way Pakistani guys have played, winning any event which is an international event, that gives enough confidence to any player to represent his country when it comes to in international.
Well, a lot of YouTubers from across the border were crying. They said that we sent veteran players while Pakistan sent all youngsters to participate in
and
this
nobody
tournament.
asked them to.
Yes.
Nobody asked them to send those veteran players.
I think they were more upset of the tweet by Dinesh Karthik when they beat Pakistan by DLS, and they said, he said another Sunday, another day, another victory against Pakistan. And then when we won the tournament, we responded the same. We said just business as usual, winning tournaments.
This is the first time ICC's rules were stayed neutral when it comes to playing against India, and there were lot of cries coming that this DLS has certain flaws and this DLS has certain issues. But this is the first time ever I've seen in the last 10 years that those DLS and those DRS stayed neutral.
Well, the fact is they finished at the bottom of the table.
Yes.
So I think that answers their question. But let's take a look at the top performers in this Hong Kong Sixes tournament that Pakistan has convincingly won. So we've got some names over there as well that we talk about. So Abbas Afridi's strike rate is just phenomenal. I mean, look at that, 460 of a strike rate. Then you look at his tournament numbers as well. He's just been phenomenal. Alongside him, there's been a lot of other players who performed, including Shahzad, including Mas Sadakat as well, who's also been brilliant. So Pakistan have had a tremendous tournament nonetheless. But I think, thank you very much, Kashif, for joining us. I'm sure that Pakistan celebrated this more than the victory against South Africa. So that tells us our priorities in cricket as well. We're more happy about the Hong Kong Sixes than we are about the tournament.
And all of these guys were playing domestic cricket, the Qaid-e-Azam Trophy, and asked to represent Pakistan in Hong Kong Super Sixes.
That's a new evolution of Pakistan cricket at the moment. But thank you very much, Kashif, for joining us. On that note, we're going to go towards a short break. But when we come back, we've got lots more. Stay tuned to the Scoreboard. Welcome back to the scoreboard. Now we move on to the football, and it was City against Liverpool, a clash that many thought would be highly competitive, but looks like City were the better side once again, and problems for Liverpool continue after their last shocking loss and their manager going on to complain that our players were exhausted. I think they've once again added to their worries. To talk more on this in studios now, joining us is sports expert Ali MEHDI. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum
How
salam.
are you?
I'm very well.
City fans must be rejoicing, but for Liverpool, problems continue, and I think they're just adding to their misery at the moment.
Well, City are over the moon. Manchester City are over the moon. This is the same team which last year won no trophy. First season ever for Pep Guardiola that he did not win a single trophy last year. So he obviously wanted to make amends. And what he did, he absolutely, you could see, he put gasoline.
1,000th game for him.
Yeah, 1,000 game for him, and he put gasoline in Haaland's tank. I mean, the guy has been on absolute fire, Ahmed. I mean, after last year in which he completely dipped, this year he's a completely different man. He's the main, you could linchpin for them, and he's been scoring goals for fun. 14 goals this season in 10 games too. He's a man on the mission, and if there's anybody who's going to chase Arsenal, it is Eric Haaland, who was brilliant. And when you talk about Liverpool, well, this is their 4th loss in 5 games. I mean, this is the Premier League champions you're talking about. You would think that, you know, that their season is absolutely finished right now, but, you know, 4 games out of 5 is very worrying for them. I think there's a lot of reasons for that, and that is because they're just misfiring on all cylinders. Salah's not performing. They've got some new players.
There's been a lot of talk about Mo Salah. We're going to come to Haaland in a bit, but for Mo Salah particularly, even at the start of the season, a lot of people had contested, football experts had contested him to continue with Liverpool, citing that he's an aging number who probably doesn't fit into the squad anymore.
Well, you talk about Mohamed Salah. I personally think he should have moved on to greener pastures. He's done everything he's had to. He's won a Champions League. He's won 2 Premier League titles. He's won FA. He won everything. You know, go and enjoy yourself in the Saudi Pro League. The Saudi Pro League is now, he could have minted money over there, but he decided to stay, which is a brave move. But the problem is that, you know, age catches up on you. Your legs just slightly give up.
A lot of football experts, or let's be honest, Liverpool fans I talked to, they didn't agree with me. They said Salah's not the problem. They said the problem is that we don't have a replacement for Van Dijk. It's as simple as that.
It's not only that, they haven't been able to replace the wing backs. I mean, Trent Alexander-Arnold, what an important cog he was for that team. He's gone, so that opens up the flank. Andy Robertson's not playing.
I think you're spot on. You hit a bullseye over here. With Alexander gone, Liverpool have been exposed.
And it's not that, Ahmed, both sides have actually been opened up. You know, Andy Robertson isn't playing. Kirkes is playing over there, but he's not a solution. He was good for his former team, but he's not playing well for this team. And the problem, when the flanks open, you know, how much can Van Dijk do?
But they have themselves to blame. They had the, if I'm not wrong, the 2nd or the 3rd highest spending kitty in the Premier League.
They did, actually. I think they had the 2nd highest, and you go and get Alexander Isak over there, you Wits over there, Etikite has got, Ekitike they got over there. So they've gotten a lot of players over there, but the problem, and Frimpong is another one too, but you can't match quality for quality over there. They haven't, it's not a straight swap. It will take time, but I didn't think that they would absolutely be decimated. I didn't think they would be languishing in mid-table about 5th, 6th position. They are the defending champions. That's the reason they won the championship last year. So obviously it is a difficult time for them, but I think they will actually, there's still 10 games up, and I think they'll actually recover.
Well, you're still hopeful of that?
Look, I think that, the Premier League, I don't think they're going to win the Premier League. I think it's between a straight shot between Arsenal and Manchester City. But Liverpool are obviously going to be there and thereabouts in the top 4. You know, you can't ever rule them out.
Well, do they finish in the top 10? I think that's a bigger question.
No, definitely. They definitely will finish in the top 10. Okay, look, this is a really bad slump they're going through. They've lost 4 of the past 5 games too. But look, this is a team which won the Premier League last year. They aren't going to do something like what Manchester United did in 2013 when they won their last Premier League title. They won in 2013 their last Premier League 20th title, and then they finished 7th. I expect similar from Liverpool too, but come on, Emma, they're not going to finish below 10th, are they?
But Arne Slot saying they kept on outplaying us for 90 minutes is like accepting that he's the one at fault over
Look, it's very worrying. If you look at the stats yesterday, Ahmed, it's very worrying. 7 shots, 1 on target. Only 1 shot on target. This is a team which went and won 2-0 over there, so that's very worrying. An XG of 0.6, whereas you talk about Manchester City, 14 shots, 6 on target, and an XG of 1.6. I mean, they were absolutely invincible. I mean, they were all over the pitch. There were so many players who performed well. You talk about Jeremy Doku, the one player who's really come to form. He's been absolutely brilliant. Haaland we talk about. Even Nico Gonzalez got into the mix.
Because last game he's saying my players are exhausted. This game he's saying they kept on outplaying us. He's not telling us what went wrong. He's just trying to probably buy time for I don't know what understand.
And you know, there's a reason for that, Ahmed. He doesn't know his best team. He doesn't know his best team.
A lot of people said that initially he enjoyed success because this was a team that was built by Jurgen Klopp.
That is very true. Last year, what happened is that Jurgen Klopp has built this team, and they were just reaching. You can see their optimum level, and when they reach the optimum level, he was just managing them. Now it comes the real part when you have to chop and change. You have to fix the squad. He's brought some additions too, but the problem over here is Ahmed is that it's going to take time for this team to gel up. Now it's obviously a storm they're going through, but obviously they're not going to finish in the top 4 as Premier League champions, but I do think they'll be qualified for Europe.
But the way City's pressed yesterday, you know, if I talk about this game particularly, the way City pressed in this game probably gave me an idea of what kind of tactical genius is going in their minds right now. And the fact being said that we talked about Haaland earlier as well, where you mentioned those 14 goals, I think we have long debated that English Premier League sides have been highly unsuccessful bringing in major stars to try to adjust them into their system. Manchester United stands as a prime example of failure, the way they handled Cristiano Ronaldo. Simple as that. While we always talked about the fact, even here on Pakistan TV and repeatedly on PTV, we've talked about the fact that City are successful because they built the whole system around that player rather than adjusting him into their own game.
Exactly. And now what have they done? They built the squad around Eric Haaland. And they brought some other players. I won't say fringe players too, but you know, they brought some new players too. Donnarumma has come over. There, Doku here now has had a couple of seasons.
Fantastic signing.
An amazing signing 2 years ago. I mean, people said he was a bit of a flop. Pep Guardiola said, give him time. And now he's shining. He's shining along with Eric Haaland over there. Nico Gonzalez scored a brilliant goal over there.
Well, Pep in his post-match interview did actually thank Doku as well. He said, I really want to thank him.
No, he wants to thank him because look, everybody written him off. He wasn't even sure he was part of the squad. He worked very hard in the summer. He's obviously an important part of the Belgian squad too, and that's actually helped him. Now he's looking like an absolute beast, and that's what Manchester City need if they want to chase Arsenal.
Well, absolutely. Now, before we go, we've got to give you an update on tennis as well, where the whole tennis fraternity has been left in a shock and a frenzy. The WTA finals where Ariana Sabalenka lost to Alina Rybakina, it was just a shocker for me. Ali Mehdi, how have you reacted to this?
Well, it comes as no surprise. People are going to be surprised by this, but I actually saw this WTA finals happening in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. This time, second time it's happening over there. And Alina Rybakina looked like a woman possessed. She was absolutely brilliant. She won all her matches. She beat Anna Misova, who won 2 Grand Slam finals. She beat, then she beat Swiatek over there too. She beat Pegula over there. And then obviously if you beat the big players, then she was in such red hot form that all she did is that she absolutely destroyed Sabalenka in the final. Straight sets. I mean, you know, in the second set she was absolutely brilliant. But there's a reason to that, and that is because she was finding hot red form too. But you know, taking away $5.2 million doesn't seem to be too bad for her resume.
Well, absolutely. And I thought that this would be a night that Sabalenka would want to forget as soon as she can.
Well, this is the problem with Sabalenka too. Obviously, she's had a roller coaster this season, you see, this year. I mean, she obviously won the 2 Grand Slams, the hardcore, she won the US Open right now, and she's been doing very well. She had never won the WTA finals. She wanted to win it so bad. Last year, Coco Gauff won. You know, previously, Swiatek had won. She hadn't won it. She had tried her level best, but she came against a woman who was absolutely on a mission, and that is to win the WTA finals. You think that she would do well, but, you know, the problem with Sabalenka is when she comes across a player who's in red hot form, she doesn't find a way. So, you know, that is something Sabalenka has to work for going forward next season.
Well, absolutely. Thank you very much, Ali Mehdi, for joining us, for your insight into football and tennis as well. I think equally shocking results on both sides, but Ali Mehdi is always the man to go to when you need the latest updates, be it football, tennis, or even F1 these days as well. But that being said, of course, that's all we have time for. But before we go, we've got a very important and a very inspirational report to share with you as well, and it is about Sana Bahadar. And I think the name itself says a lot of what she's been able to achieve on the squash court. Take a look at this report, but from me and the entire team, until next time, it's goodbye for now.
There was a time when Pakistan ruled the squash courts. Pakistan's squash players were unbeatable and their winning streaks unmatched. But then came a phase when Pakistan's reign in the squash courts came to an end. However, there are new challengers now. and one of them is Sana Bahadar. She is the embodiment of her name Bahadur, which translates into brave in English. Coming from Khyber Pakhtunkhwa's Charsada district, 19-year-old Sana has defied all odds and has carved a niche for herself in the world of squash, despite being deaf and non-verbal. Her introduction to the sport was by chance, when she saw kids playing squash at Hashim Khan Squash Complex.
हमने एक स्कूल विजिट किया, उसके बाद वहाँ पर एक बंदा हमें मिला जिसने हमें आशम खान स्क्वाश कम्प्लेक्स लेके गया। तो वहाँ पर बच्चे खेल रहे थे, सना ने भी देख लिया। जब हम वहाँ गए और स्टार्ट लिया तो अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह स्टार्ट से सना ने स्क्वाश पे इतनी उबोरा हासिल की है जैसे इसकी ये बिल्कुल नेचुरली इनको बहुत पसंद थी।
Her father Sher Bahadur runs when she runs. When she needs to communicate, he communicates on her behalf. Sana has close to a dozen national titles to her name. She has also bagged international titles while competing across Australia and the US.
मैं जहाँ तक सना की गेम देख रहा हूँ तो अभी सना की गेम पे हम लोगों ने काफ़ी फोकस शुरू की है। उसके साथ हम लोग इसके फिजिकल ट्रेनिंग पे भी तवज्जो दे रहे हैं, इसके स्क्वाश के ट्रेनिंग पे भी तवज्जो दे रहे हैं। और साथ साथ हम अभी प्लान कर रहे हैं कि नेक्स्ट जो हम कहाँ चले जाए, यूएस चले जाए या इंग्लैंड या कहीं पर भी बाहर जाके जहाँ ज़्यादा टूर्नामेंट्स हो वो टूर्नामेंट्स खेलेंगे। तो इंटरनेशनल टूर्नामेंट्स के साथ ये होते हैं कि इसकी गेम में काफ़ी निखार आ जाती है। वो मुख्तलिफ प्लेयर्स देखते हैं जिसमें मलेशियन, इजिप्ट, अमेरिकन और दूसरी ऑस्ट्रेलियन मुख्तलिफ ममालिक के प्लेयर्स होते हैं। उनके साथ खेल के फिर इनकी गेम में काफ़ी इम्प्रूवमेंट आई।
Sana Bahadur has a long promising career ahead of her and she aspires to be the next big name in the world of squash.